join me today. I'm going to give you a brief overview, well actually a pretty good tutorial today I think, on how to make your own cloth doll. Now as far as the hair for your dolls, how to attach it, that's included in one of my other videos. On this video, I'm going to deal with and show you the constructing of your doll. One of the first things you want to do is you're going to have your doll pattern. And as you can see, I use mine over and over and over again. And by the way, you can now order this pattern, my exact pattern that I use for my dolls, off of my Etsy shop. And I'll put the link below in the bottom of the page video for you. Once you cut out your doll, you see how you have it all cut out. Then if you have an embroidery machine, you want to go ahead and just take one layer. Well, if you have an embroidery machine, I'm sure you'll know how to take care of this, handle it, deal with it. Depending on which doll face you're going to use, you might want to test it out on a swatch of material and then line it up and make sure it's going to fit the doll that you're going to be working with. Okay, now if you are embroidering, it's best to embroider the doll face first. And you can get these embroidery patterns, I'll also put a link for you, really inexpensive. If you don't have a embroidery machine, you can draw the doll faces directly on with sharpies or fabric pens. I've seen some embroidery pieces that you just glue on as far as facial pieces in the craft stores, and I'll try to find a link for you for that as well. So once you have the face embroidered on, you also need to, and this is the reason why I don't put the actual dress pattern for the doll here in the pattern if you get my pattern, because once you cut your doll out, you just want to lay your piece of fabric, and let me take this off here. I know I'm stabbing my couch with these pens, but I don't think they'll leave a mark. So when you first have your doll pattern already cut out, she doesn't have on a dress. Most of my dolls, I incorporate a piece of fabric and then decorate and embellish it. This one I haven't finished the ruffle on the back. Or you can basically just put doll clothes on your doll. Most of the 18-inch, this is approximately an 18-inch size doll. And as you can see, the doll body, when it's just stuffed, it's just plain. This doll, I didn't do the dress already attached like it is here. And then, it depends on the child that you're making it for or how you want to do it. It's really not much more work to attach a dress, a piece of fabric to it when you're stitching the doll up. Okay, so you have your piece of fabric and then your doll body already cut out, and then just lay a piece of fabric right up against the neck of the doll and all the way down to the edge of where it's showing you her dress pattern should be. Now you need to cut two pieces of these, otherwise you're only going to have, the doll's only going to be dressed on one side, and you don't want that. When you get ready to put these onto your doll, put them right sides together. And let me take this apart for a minute and show you. You have one of your doll pieces. You have your dress, your two right sides together. And you're going to attach it to, you're going to pin it, sandwich it actually, between your doll. And you need to make sure all this lines up. Obviously, I'm just doing it this way just for demonstration purposes. So now what you're going to have is one piece of your doll fabric, probably the back of the fabric, one of the pieces of fabric. Remember, the two pieces of fabric are facing each other, and then you have another piece of fabric, okay? And then you're going to stitch all the way around the edges, and I show you how to do that in the next segment of this video. So once your doll is all stitched together, and this is a doll, I didn't put the fabric on the inside, so she's not going to have a dress. But you can make little doll dresses out of scraps of fabric. So it's just up to you. Be as creative as you like. So let me stop talking, let you get on to the next step. If you have any questions, please feel free. Email me. I'll do my best to answer your question within a day or two. Sometimes, for some reason, I'm not seeing your questions popping up in my YouTube channel or whatever. But you can email me at sugarplumdolls.com. So once again, here was today's short and sweet. In the beginning, this is part 1 of the video tutorial on how to make your very own cloth and fabric doll. Oh, and if and when you decide you want to put some shoes on your doll, I have another video that's coming out soon on how to make these baby booties. Or just look at my channel and you'll see it there. And then you can just attach these to your doll. Just put them on just like if they were a baby. And now your doll would have feet. She'll have shoes, but it's close enough to looking like feet. Okay, so on to the main course, the next part of the video. Enjoy! Okay, it's real important that when you're using one of my patterns to cut out your doll, that you cut as close as you can to the black line on the pattern. That way it'll come out as fairly identical to the dolls that you've already seen. Now, take your pattern off and you have your doll already cut out. Fold it in half. Fold your doll in half so that you can be sure that you've cut evenly for both sides of your doll. And all you've got to do is just lay her next to each other, and you can do a little trimming if you need to, but you want to make sure that everything lines up. The part, her skirt part's going to line up, her arms are going to line up at the ends, and the neck will be the same. So if you need to do any extra trimming to get it all together perfectly, then go ahead and do so now. Okay, so once again, if you're going to be using my pattern, the most important thing is to make sure you cut as close as you possibly can to the solid black lines, okay? Once you have your pattern cut, then you're going to stitch all the way around, and I'll show you that in the next segment. You want to be even all the way around. You want to make sure that you're stitching evenly all the way around. Now, as you can see on the pattern, the neck piece, it pretty much, you go in straight and then you come back out. Now, when you're actually sewing it, just run it around as a curve. As long as you keep it even, you shouldn't have any problems with the neckline of your doll. And make sure you leave an opening so when you flip the doll inside out, you can stuff it with the stuffing. Okay, and as you're making your cloth doll, you want to make sure you pin a lot. Add a lot of pins. This way when you're sewing, the fabric won't slip around a lot. If you don't use a lot of pins, you're going to find that when you stitch it together, it may be off by a little bit. And that might work, and it might not. But I strongly suggest make sure you add a lot of pins. And this really isn't going to take you more than 15 minutes to add all your pins. And don't forget, at the head part, don't stitch here. You want to leave an opening so you can turn the doll inside out, and that way you'll be able to stuff it with stuffing. And just to let you know, when you're sewing your doll, what I do is I basically let my sewing machine foot line up with the edge with the edge of the fabric. That way I know it's going to be an even stitch all the way around. If you don't do that, then what's going to happen is your doll's arms and legs and different body parts are going to be at different widths, and you don't want that to happen. So if you just put your presser foot right up on the edge and just let it straight stitch slowly, you'll be fine.